New details emerge after White House's cover-up of Biden's cognitive decline. Now, we dipped our foot into it just a wee bit from Ed O'Keefe, where it was Jake Sullivan's employee, I guess you would call him. I don't even know what you would call him. Kind of revealed that, oh, Joe Biden is worse behind closed doors than he is in person. Sounds a hell of a lot like what I've been saying for 4 years of, if you're seeing this at the microphone, if you're seeing this in public display, can you imagine how bad it is behind the curtain, behind closed doors? Well, a new report published Thursday revealed new insights into the White House's efforts to conceal President Joe Biden's severe cognitive decline over the last 4 years. The Wall Street Journal reported that Biden's handlers limited who spoke to him. Wow, there's a revelation. We don't need a reporter to tell us that. We could see it. We saw the card. Remember early on when he had the cards with the names? Everyone's like, what the hell is he doing? They're prefabricated people. He had the questions beforehand. What information they gave him and what news he consumed. Nearly 50 Democrats, various politicians, aides, and administration officials spoke to the Journal for the report in which they described the hand-holding they witnessed from Biden's handlers, which they said was unlike anything they've ever seen before. But these jerks, I'm working on my cussing, would still vote for the guy. All these 50 Democrats still voted for him or would have voted for him if he was running again. And they voted for him in 2020. So I don't want to hear crap they have to say. Oh, it was bad. You should have seen it. Yeah, you guys would have bent over backwards for this guy. Give me a break. Democrats acting like they're on their friggin' moral high horse, that they're holier than thou. The report said that Biden's cognitive decline was so bad that a wall was built around him to mask his struggles, which were so significant that they could upset the world order. Within just the first few months after taking office, Biden already showed signs of cognitive decline. Few months after taking office? No. He showed mental decline before he took office. We were all talking about it. Everybody was talking about it. Hey, watch Joe drooling into a drip tray. That doesn't look good. Yeah, on the debate stage, we all saw it. Showed signs of cognitive decline. It's just an advanced age is what it is. Donald Trump is basically the same age as Joey and completely fine. Roaming around. Look at the rocket, Elon. Give me all the intricacies. I'm going to get this deal done. Trump's fine. Trump's not being bubbled in. Trump's out there on social media. He's telling reporters to F themselves. F off. I don't care about you. The report said he simply could not do his job if he was involved in long meetings because he became tired and would make mistakes. Dude. I'm sorry. That's mean. Biden's team told those who were allowed access to the president that they had to keep meetings very short and to the point with him if they were granted time. The report said that the degree to which his staff hid him from top lawmakers, donors, and even his own cabinet secretaries was something they've never seen happen with the president. Would it surprise me? I believe all this, by the way. I believe every single thing that's written here. Adam Smith, then chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, reportedly tried to urgently get in touch with Biden before his disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Because he wanted to warn Biden that he was headed for disaster. There's an episode that I was joking about something like this. The phone call never happened. And the rest of this history. 13 U.S. service members were murdered in a suicide bombing, and the images of people falling off airplanes during a debacle embarrassed the U.S. military. I mean, I've made various jokes about Joe Biden just waking up one morning and going, I'm going to do it. I'm pulling out of Afghanistan. Like, what the hell, sir? I'm pulling out of Afghanistan. I don't want to take any phone calls. I made my decision. Clean me. Numerous officials said that they never got any time to speak with Biden and instead had to deal with his staff who seemingly did most of his work for him. This kind of runs into Karine Jean-Pierre not being able to talk to the president either. Biden's staff worked so hard to shield his cognitive decline from the outside world that some of his own cabinet secretaries gave up even trying to communicate with Biden because requests to talk to him wouldn't be welcome. The cabinet secretaries who did have interactions with the White House often were only allowed to speak with Biden's inner circle of handlers, not Biden himself. As Biden's mind continued to deteriorate over his time as president, so did the number of meetings that he held with his top secretaries, like Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, the report said. So wouldn't it be in the best interest of the American people in the country to tell everybody what's going on, that the president is not with us? There is an episode. I said it's the greatest cover up, the greatest lie ever told to the American people. And I mean that. I don't think there's a greater lie as of right now. I'm sure there will be one later. Maybe it'll be the JFK, the Epstein list, January 6th. I don't know. But as far as I'm aware, right now, covering up a president who's not actually running the country is the greatest cover up I've ever seen in American history. Biden's team also insulated him on the campaign trail in the summer of 2023. One prominent Democrat donor put together a small event for Biden's reelection bid. The donor was shocked when a campaign official told him that the attendees shouldn't expect to have a free-ranging question and answer session with the president. Instead, the organizer was told to send in 2 or 3 questions ahead of time that Biden would answer. At some events, the Biden campaign printed the pre-approved questions, which we saw on note cards, and then gave donors the cards to read the questions. Why would you donate to a guy like that? Because it's all about the agenda. It's all about the narrative. It's all about keeping the the puppet in check. Holy Lord, I sound like Joey. It's rubbing off on me. Now, this happened last night. This spooked a lot of people. And then I got a clip with Peter Doocy that I haven't seen before because I want to see if he comments on this. Late last night, you guys. Late last night, 9 hours ago, Vice President Kamala Harris has canceled a planned trip to California and has returned to the White House unexpectedly. President Biden has come back to Washington from Delaware earlier than anticipated. No official reasons have been disclosed for these sudden changes in the schedule. The White House has not yet provided some details on the matter. Is it about Is it about New Jersey? Is it about the drones? Is it about some sort of World War III possibly taking place? Some people are commenting that maybe it's Joe Biden going to step down and give Kamala Harris the reins here for the last month. Here's the motorcade. Alrighty. So that was going on last night. Breaking, Joe Biden has arrived at the White House after canceling his Delaware holiday stay. That's a big deal. Joe Biden has taken, look at him just walk through the, Jesus, man. Barely making it. He's taken more vacation than any sitting president in United States history. This guy's broken records left and right. I mean, we couldn't put actual medals around his neck because it'd weigh him down. He wouldn't be able to get back up. What's going on? The Bidens have abruptly returned to the White House, as well as Kamala. Benny Johnson reported this as well last night. Kamala has canceled her trip. Vice President Kamala Harris has canceled. Rumors are that Kamala is about to take over as president after she was caught on camera rushing back to the White House. A lot of people are speculating last night that maybe something happened to Joe. Joe's cognitive decline. Something's going on. You just don't randomly make a U-turn, and go back to the White House. So this was uploaded by Fox News 2 hours ago. I'm on the West Coast. And I want to see what he has to say because he's talking about Joe Biden's cognitive decline here on Fox and Friends. Shout out to Peter Doocy's dad. Hell of a freaking jacket, my friend. Also, can we give a shout out to Brian Kilmeade here? He writes some of my favorite books, by the way, for nonfiction. Really, really enjoy his books. So if you haven't checked out them and you enjoy history, really worth the read. I always look forward to seeing what he has coming out.
On how the White House functioned or didn't function with a diminished Biden in charge.
Incredible. Peter Doocy joins us from Washington. Hey, Peter.
And when I got to the White House 4 years ago with President Biden, he was walled off because of COVID. They didn't want him to get sick. But then he stayed walled off. And now the Wall Street Journal has this item with the headline, How the White House Functioned with a Diminished Biden in Charge. And it comes with this quote, if the president was having an off day, meetings could be scrapped altogether. On one such occasion in the spring of 2021, a national security official explained to another aide why a meeting needed to be rescheduled. Quote, he has good days and bad days, and today was a bad day, so we're going to address this tomorrow, the former aide recalled the official saying. The president showed natural signs of aging, but key allies always stuck their necks out to say, no big deal.
Right after the debate, you insisted that President Biden is extraordinarily strong. Given where we are now, do you have any regrets about what you told the American people?
No, not at all. Not at all.
I talk to President Biden, regularly, usually several times in a week. His mental acuity is great. It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years.
Do you think the president should undergo some sort of cognitive testing?
To the extent that we're having this conversation, I don't see any need to do that. But if you're as it relates to Biden.
Things have changed a lot, but no obvious second thoughts.
You prepare to leave the White House. Any other regrets that you have? Anything you wish you would have done differently?
Well, I guess if I thought a lot about it, it'd be something I've done specifically done, but not generically.
I had a front row seat to a lot of this, and at various times was basically told not to believe what I was seeing or hearing. The president misspoke. The president has a cold. But now the dam appears to be breaking. This Wall Street Journal item interviewed 50 people familiar with Biden's operation. Back to you.
So, Peter, you had the story in August. The Wall Street Journal began to dip their toe in the water on this very topic, and they got blasted. You've gotten blasted when you've questioned the president's acuity. And Kamala Harris offended that people even bring it up. But they talk about interaction between Biden and many of his cabinet members were infrequent, often tightly scripted. At least one cabinet member stopped requesting calls with the president because it was clear that such requests wouldn't be welcome. The cabinet. Peter Doocy can't get an interview. His own cabinet can't get a meeting. Adam Smith, who's chairman of Armed Services, tried to tell the president how bad Afghanistan could turn out. He couldn't get to him. This is cataclysmic.
And it raises a lot of questions about who was making key decisions. You mentioned the Afghanistan withdrawal. If the president was as diminished as this story makes it sound, that would be a huge problem, and it could explain why certain decisions were made that turned out to be catastrophic and why no apologies were ever made. To your point, Brian, when the cabinet met all 9 times, which is the least in the last several decades that a president has had their whole cabinet together in an entire term, there was a different item a few months ago where cabinet secretaries were being asked to submit their questions for the president behind closed doors in advance. And they were being told to keep it quick because the way that it worked was they would ask a question that was pre-screened, and then the president would have a card with the answer, even in a closed setting.
Yo, that's bonkers, man. That is bonkers. And all these Democrats allowed it. That's why I've always said, I don't care what Democrats have to say anymore. I really don't. Oh, you guys are January 6th insurrectionists. You guys allowed a president to be elected, air quotes, most popular president ever, by the way, allegedly, be elected, that's brain isn't working. And now we're in the bleep storm we're in because you guys suck at voting. We at least have our head on straight and we vote for a guy that's brains actually working. You might not like the things he says and does all the time, but at least this is functioning properly and the world was a lot better for it in 2016.
And I hear a lot of the complaints about, and there was a bite in the open, why wasn't there more coverage of the president's age and acuity earlier?
Thank you.
Well, a lot of the stories that you hear...
You kept asking.
I kept asking the whole time. And a lot of the stories that we would hear, that we would try to report out, are secondhand, but it's a lot of stuff like, you would hear from somebody on the staff or somebody that works at the White House. It looked like the president was falling asleep somewhere. Okay, hard to confirm that, but we have tape of him falling asleep at events,
Peter,
as recently as his most recent foreign trip.
You know, it was off the record last Friday. There was a holiday party at the White House. You had a brief interaction that has not been reported, and it kind of speaks to how his aides just ripped you essentially out of that room when you two started talking.
It was actually kind of funny. I took my sister Mary as my +1, and when we got up there, I said, "Mr. President, this is my sister Mary." And the first thing he said to her is, my sister tries to control me. And the First Lady and the press secretary who was standing off to the side were trying to keep the line going, and they did. And so it was quick. But a lot of that.
And I think he might have said something like, "I'd like to talk to you later," and then it's like, "Come on, Peter, let's go." And there you went.
Yes. Yep.
With your sister
Off
Mary,
into the
who
night.
tries to control you too.
It's true, but I made sure that Mary did what I always do at these White House parties. They have like napkins with the presidential seal, so just make sure that as many as you can grab on your way out.
That's the lovely party gift.
Thanks.
All right,
Thanks,
Peter.
Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
This is embarrassing as a country. I mean, everyone's talking about the Republican Party right now and who's debating this bill, and Elon Musk, who's running the country right now. And
well, it's not Joe, that's for darn sure. Not Joe whatsoever.